Let's go to zero.
Okay,
and what's wrong with that? Tell me what's wrong with that.
No,
What's wrong with that?
I don't think.
What's wrong with that?
I don't think
that was manufactured in India.
Tata Motors
is owned by an Indian.
Yes. So get
entrepreneur.
over it. It's a fact.
But they're not manufactured in India.
Listen, you're okay with them?
No, are you okay?
Kevin,
are they
manufactured in India?
The thing that he's being criticized for is the thing that worked. If he had come in and very nicely and politely gone to each of these countries
What
and
has worked?
I'm trying to explain. Wait, I'll tell you what worked. He picked up a baseball bat, he whacked the stock market, and now they're all sitting there in a state of relief that it's only a 10% tariff, and they're coming to the table.
Wait, I'm confused.
That's how you know that it worked.
I'm legitimately confused. This
$5
period,
trillion
in this period
in
of time,
manufacturing
those are commitments that have not materialized in a
4
single
weeks.
Most of those,
do you know how long it takes to build these things?
Most of those are press releases and pictures with shovels, and then it never happens. And you can go back.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this panel. This was incredible to watch. Abby Phillip and Anna Navarro team up to just humiliate these MAGA pundits over and over again. Check this out and we'll talk about it.
If Donald Trump's got 99 problems, polls are definitely one of them. Here is a snapshot. The lowest approval for any president at this point in 7 decades. Nearly 60% of Americans say the economy is bad, tariffs are bad, and Trump made all of these worse. 70% expect a recession. And remember, the economy used to be where Trump scored the highest in terms of approval, and why voters gave him a second chance.
He's a businessman first, and when you run a business, you have to live within your budget. That's his biggest advantage.
At the end of the day, I want a person that's going to fix the economy.
Like I said, he's gonna take a look at what's going to be best for the economy.
We will launch the most extraordinary economic boom the world has ever seen.
And in typical fashion, the reaction to the polls from Trump himself is measured. He calls the polling corrupt, compromised, sad, fake, negative, sick. He's even demanding investigations into pollsters, who he calls cheats and criminals. But the hard truth is even showing up on MAGA media.
When it gets to the economy, he is in very bad shape. And it's not only that he's in the short term in bad shape, there's also evidence in the poll that no matter, even if he gets his way on certain things like tariffs, that he's not good in the long run.
So now, the more the polls show Trump hitting a wall, the more spaghetti he's throwing at that wall.
We're going to cut taxes for the people of this country. It'll take a little while before we do that, but we're going to be cutting taxes. And it's possible we'll do a complete tax cut, because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax.
Joining us in our fifth seat at the table is economic expert Sheila Kolhatkar. She's a staff writer at The New Yorker. This seems, Sheila, like an admission of Trump, that the tariffs are raising prices and that he may need to do something to help Americans out in the face of rising prices.
Well, he was elected specifically to try and help improve the economic picture for middle-class families and to create more prosperity and opportunity to bring down prices. If there's a connection between his tariffs and those things happening, he has not demonstrated what that connection would be. I mean, I think I've said this before, you know, imposing tariffs doesn't lead to great secure middle-class jobs suddenly appearing across the Midwest. I mean, those things take serious investment. They take a really long-term time frame. And just imposing tariffs, it just literally causes business owners to have to write a check to the government anytime they collect goods from outside of the country that they need to run their operation.
Yeah, and the verdict.
And again, those manufacturing jobs, whatever these manufacturing jobs are, they are going to be automated with top-of-the-line tech, funded by us because of these tariffs, and they're going to use as little as people as possible. Like, who are they trying to fool here?
It is not subtle at all on the part of voters. 59% say he worsened conditions in the economy. This is after all that you heard from those voters there. A majority of Americans don't have a positive view of the economy. 71% say current economic conditions are poor. This is way worse than it was when he got into office.
Yeah, I mean, if we were holding an election right now and this is what voters were saying, we would be worried for the candidate. I mean, it's only the first 100 days, so he has some time. But the question is, will his policies self-correct? And based on many of the economic experts, it doesn't seem like that is the pathway forward. The other thing is we are in such a hyper-partisan time that the folks who support Democrats and the folks who support Republicans are there. I don't actually think folks are moving that much, especially after this last election. But it's all those folks in the middle, and he's losing those individuals right now. And the reality is that there is a midterm, and I mean, the clock has started. It's like basically a year when primaries start to happen. If his economic policies don't actually have the impact that he said he would promise, Republicans are going to lose in 2026.
Batya, it seems kind of hard to dispute that if things go the way that they're going now, things are not looking good. Even Republicans are saying that because they're worried. They have to run in 18 months or so.
I think that there are a lot of things we could all agree about were utterly unsustainable in terms of our relationship with China. And the only way to get out of that unsustainable situation was always going to hurt. And so I don't blame Americans for realizing that and recognizing that. But if I could just mention a few of the other things that he's accomplished in the last 100 days that I think we all could agree are good things. Border crossing down to almost zero, the lowest in recorded history.
Has to change the subject.
Deportations of gangbangers. 10% global.
Alleged.
What do you mean? There are many that are not alleged.
No, well, when 60 Minutes did their report, it found that 75% of the people that have been sent to El Salvador.
You don't dispute that there were gangbangers deported.
I dispute that the 238 Venezuelans that were sent to SECOT in El Salvador all have ties to gangs.
We can debate
they
that.
May all
Let's
have
put that
tattoos.
aside. Let's put that aside.
Is any of that making stuff more affordable?
I'm getting there.
How is that helping?
I'm getting there.
CBS is really credible.
We only got an hour.
Really credible. They don't edit any interviews.
Oh, okay.
They're just
all right,
Everybody
Kevin.
edits interviews, Kevin.
They are the
Shark
rock
Tank
solid.
edits too.
Rock
Everybody
solid.
edits.
That's a complete non sequitur, okay? It's unrelated to the conversation. First of all, Trump had his interviews edited by Fox. That issue with CBS is being litigated, but it's not likely to be successful.
I'm glad it's being litigated.
Because editing interviews is allowed in the United States of America, and it wasn't edited deceptively. But anyway, we're moving on because that is not part of the conversation.
If I could just get through a few more of these. He got 24 hostages out of Gaza. $1.5 trillion in manufacturing investment committed to the United States, transparency in foreign funding of universities, vocational training, AI training, lowering prescription drugs, the tariffs, which are going a long way towards reorienting our relationship, making us sovereign as a nation in a way that we cannot be with the current relationship with China.
I want to come back to some of the things that you described there. A lot of people would dispute prescription drugs being a big one of them. That's
just about all of them you can dispute. Like, what the hell is the female Scott Jennings talking about? This was about the economy. Like, I hope this is very revealing to Republicans, even Republicans. I hope you can see through that. She has to change the subject. And how she started it off, we all knew it was going to hurt us financially. Trump never said that. Trump never said that there was going to be pain. You saw it. It was that we were going to be reaching prosperity and all this crap. Grocery prices down day one. Like, Trump got into office for three things: racism or bigotry, misogyny, and bringing down prices. And this buffoon, as long as Trump continues what he's doing to the Palestinian people, she's happy to embarrass herself. These people
struck out to me. But secondly, I mean, voters are saying pretty clearly they are unhappy. His approval rating has dropped significantly. It's at its lowest point for any president in many decades, and its lowest point for him. So all of those things being said, they are unhappy. They don't think that he's doing a good job, and they don't think that he's addressing their number one concern.
Look,
which is
there's
the
very
economy.
few things that Donald Trump has done in these first 100 days that he didn't say he was going to do. But I think the devil's in the detail, and I think the detail is in the way he has done it, right? He said he was going to deport criminal illegal aliens. He's deporting U.S. citizens, children with cancer. He said that, you know, he would impose tariff. I don't know that when people voted for that, they thought it was going to be 145% tariff on China and the way he was going to do it. I don't know that they thought he was going to impose tariffs on penguins on a deserted island. So he said he was going to go after corruption and waste. I don't know that when they voted for that, they thought it was going to be DOGE and that they were going to be cutting hundreds of thousands of federal employees with absolutely no feeling of empathy. I don't think they knew that he was going to come in with a wrecking ball and do the things that he promised. But there's very few things that he's done that he didn't say he was going to do.
He says
it's worse than a wrecking ball. He sent Elon Musk out there to go giggle around with a chainsaw, laughing about cutting everyday working people's jobs. Like, these people are gross. And what Trump is talking about now, we're going to get rid of income tax and we're just going to have 100% tariffs coming into the U.S. Like, are these people stupid? To try to offset the loss in income tax, this will only make things worse. And it's simple, because just because you aren't paying taxes anymore, whatever that percentage is, 20, 30%, doesn't mean you'll be willing to buy products that were just recently half the price. People just won't be willing to buy products that were just half the price. It's even a psychological thing will make you not want to buy it, pay for something that's just double. People will buy less at an extreme rate, and it's almost guaranteed to bring us into depression.
Also, Kevin, that he's going to pay for this major tax cut, basically eliminating an income tax on people making under $200,000 a year, which, before you say it, I'm sure would be very popular. He says he's going to do that with the tariffs. But take a look at this assessment by Apollo Global Management and Fitch. He would basically need to raise tariffs to about 100% in order to pay for this plan. I mean, it's just not logical. But let's talk.
And again, that doesn't take into effect the demand, the drop in demand. Psychologically, again, people will not be okay with paying for double for things.
About that, I mean, is he just throwing things out that he thinks will make people like him when he can't pay for it and he can't execute on it?
Let's be pragmatic with tariffs and not get emotional about it. They are short-term weaponry. Let's just take India for an example. And
you might want to
tell
that
convince all of you
but
this is
Kevin,
good policy.
You might want to tell that to the president. I want to deal in the real world.
Let me answer
because
the question,
in the real world, when Donald Trump says, I want to pay for eliminating the income tax with tariffs, that doesn't sound to me like a man who thinks this is just a short-term negotiation.
Why would you think any individual in government that doesn't face an election gives a damn about polls? They don't. He's not facing an election again. It's over. He's done. So let's get back to reality. Let's take tariffs in the context of something everybody can understand. Tata Motors in India makes the Jaguar car, okay? We want to sell an American car in India. They charge us 110% tariffs. We charge them nothing to bring the Jag into the U.S. Why is that fair? Let's just stay focused for 1 second on that. All he's saying in his policy, and I don't want to be about Trump. I don't shill for politicians. I shill for policy. What's wrong with saying to India, hey, India, it's not okay to charge us 110% on our assembled car into your nation when we charge you practically nothing on yours, the Jaguar coming into the United States. What's wrong with either parity on tariffs, we whack you with 110, or bring them back to zero? The Indian guy comes over here and says, okay, big guy, let's go to zero.
Okay,
and what's wrong with that? Tell me what's wrong with that.
No,
What's wrong with that?
I don't think.
What's wrong with that?
I don't think anyone is suggesting that tariffs used very strategically.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Very strategically.
Rest in case, you moron. This is exactly this. They have to blur the line, blur the lines. Trump, again, this whole argument is Trump is tariffing the world, including allies. Rest your case. What is this buffoon talking about? And the reason he talks about it like this is because he's a multi-millionaire. These people don't live like the rest of us. And guys, yesterday some MAGA moron on the comments commented, "Oh, he's not a billionaire. He's worth 400 million." Like, this is how pathetic these Trump supporters, these diehard Trump Republican voters are. Like, if that makes it so much better. Oh, I'm sorry, he's worth 400 million. Now he's much more like the rest of us. I take everything back what I said about him. Like, guys, you guys are fools. They're playing you guys. Look at your argument. And he just said that he doesn't care about politicians, he cares about policy. Let's be real, it's all about himself. It's about himself making him more money. He doesn't care who gets hurt on the way. In my last video, he couldn't come up with a reason as to why we should take the pain of tariffs while also thinking it's fine for the super rich to get a tax cut. He couldn't answer the question. These people really have a disdain for the working class.
Are a useful tool. It is the way it's being done, the flip-flopping, the uncertainty.
Oh, you don't like the volatility?
The uncertainty that every business owner now has to face when they plan their hiring.
I want you to get over volatility. It's only been 100 days.
Tell
Relax.
59% of Americans to get over it. That's the reality.
Let it simmer. Let it. Listen,
okay.
You got to let it simmer. You got to let it work. You got to give it time.
Americans, let it simmer. As you give the example for a
marinate.
Okay, as you cannot even marinate chicken because you can't afford it right now in Trump's America.
On. There's nothing to do with tariffs
as we give examples of Jaguars, how many people making under $200,000 can even buy a Jaguar?
What does that have to do?
Listen,
what does it have to do? We're talking about
Jaguars manufactured in India.
What's wrong?
They're owned by Tata, which is an Indian company, but are Jaguars manufactured in India?
Tata Motors
is owned by an Indian.
Yes. So get
entrepreneur,
over it. It's a fact.
But they're not manufactured in India.
Listen, they charge. They do not let us ship.
Are you going to put a tariff on the company, or are you going to put a tariff on the cars?
You're okay with them?
No, are you okay?
Kevin, are they manufactured in India? I haven't looked this up, but are they manufactured in India?
They make them all over the world, as American cars companies do too.
Well, look.
Anna Navarro was about to go off. She was about to go off there. But that's why he kept leaving that out. That's why he didn't want to answer that. He didn't want to answer that they manufacture in the U.S. as well, because that is the trade deal. It's not just one for one on tariffs. Sometimes, yeah, you tariff our cars, but we build the cars here, so we have the jobs here. Like, these people are so stupid. And that's why he didn't want to mention that we are doing the manufacturing here for those cars, for some of those cars. Because that is the trade deal. This guy's a buffoon. And there's probably other things on the trade deal. Hey, you tariff our cars, we'll tariff this. And we're both fine with it for whatever market condition reasons. This guy's a bimbo.
I mean,
I think you should focus on the fact.
Well, no, I mean, we are, but I think we're focusing also on the question of, first of all, it's been 4 weeks. There have been 0 deals, okay? So again, every day.
4 weeks? Oh, my goodness, he couldn't get a deal done in 4 weeks?
Well, Kevin, you know, it was an option for this administration to pursue this.
So you need to do it 24 hours,
It was an option for this administration to pursue a strategy of deals before slapping tariffs on the whole world. That could have happened
I'm just suggesting.
Right? And I don't know, and I think, I don't know anyone, even people who agree with you about the need to deal with trade barriers, you know, the tariffs and then the non-tariff trade barriers, would disagree that that needs to be addressed. Again, it's how, right?
So, but I think that the very thing that he's being criticized for is the thing that worked. If he had come in and very nicely and politely gone to each of these countries and said, I'm trying to explain. If he had very nicely and calmly and politely gone to each of these countries and said, look, you've been screwing us over, you've been screwing over the American working class for 40 years, and we're not going to take it anymore. Let's sit down and have like a nice conversation. Why won't you, how about you to bring down those tariffs. Let's meet halfway
Okay, but
somewhere.
has
They
it
would have said,
worked?
no, wait, I'll tell you what worked. He picked up a baseball bat, he whacked the stock market, and now they're all sitting there in a state of relief that it's
Okay,
only a
while
10% tariff,
Americans are
and they're coming to the table.
Wait, I'm confused.
That's how
I'm
you know
actually
that it worked.
I'm legitimately confused. So Trump.
When I first saw her said that, guys, I was dying for a good 3 minutes. Yes, we're all confused, Abby. I don't know what the hell she is talking about, truthfully. No one said anything about going at this nicely and calmly and subtly. Everyone is saying it should be targeted, strategic, not just the entire world, including our allies, on products that made just no sense to put tariffs on because we're just never going to make it. It just made no sense for us to ever make. And she's trying to blur the lines and make it seem like this is the argument, that you should have spoken more nicely and calmly. No one said anything about that. She's making a fake argument. Again, she has to. The facts go completely against her case. And he took away the tariffs precisely because the stock market was collapsing. Like, this is so insane.
Trump destroying 20% of wealth in the country
By the way,
over the
all
last
of the losses
4
have
months.
recovered at this
Who
point.
wins
That's
from
not
that?
true.
Who
Of
win-
course
who
they
win-
have.
No,
Let
no,
me
no,
give
no,
you the
they have
date
not.
on the losses.
who
April 3rd was the meltdown. Let me give you the
Hold on,
data.
hold on, Kevin. Don't interrupt me.
I want facts here, Abby.
Who benefits when the stock market drops and people lose value in both their investments and also
now to
in terms
get
of the
a
companies?
deal. So yeah, it's been 4 weeks and we don't have a deal yet. They're working. They're very close to announcing them. India and Vietnam both announced tariffs on China. You think they would have done that if Trump hadn't shown that he was serious about standing up for the American working class and that he doesn't work for Wall Street?
How have the American people benefited is the question that I'm asking in this period.
$1.5 trillion
in this period
in
of time.
manufacturing.
Those
committed.
are commitments that have not materialized in a
4
single
weeks?
Most of those,
Do you know how
most
long
of
it takes
those,
to build these things?
most of those are press releases and pictures with shovels, and then it never happens. And you can go back. That is
what happened in the first term.
We have
Can
seen
we go
this
back
movie
to
before.
facts
That
for
is
just a moment?
always
Can we just
true.
talk about facts for a moment? April 3rd was a meltdown based on the tariff announcements. The stock market has recovered 52% of those since then. As we wait to see the outcomes of the India agreement, the EU agreement, the UK agreement, the Swiss agreement, the Thailand agreement, the Japanese agreement, Canadian agreement, Mexican agreement. No administration has ever done 60 trade agreements at once. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's chaotic.
Including
but
this
all
one.
you care
So
about is 7.
It's stupid. It's such a spineless little coward. It's stupid. It's chaotic. And brave. God.
17 deals.
Okay.
Except China. Forget
Listen,
about China. It's
when
different.
I say that, 20%, that's not me saying that. Ken Griffin, who is a Trump supporter, donated. He said that last week. He said
Ken Griffin
that
is the CEO of Citadel.
Yeah.
He is a staunch Republican, has been so for many years. And I think what he said is something that we need to take stock on. He said, America's brand has been damaged. And that's something that's not going to be reversed in 30 seconds or 30 days or 100 days. It's also done a number on American consumers and their psyche. People are not spending. It's done a number on tourists that come to America. Tourism is down. Go down the street and ask the people in Miami, Kevin. Yeah. Tourism is down by double digits. Canadians, where you are from, don't want to come to this country.
Canada can't come here because Trudeau wiped them out.
I hear a lot of folks come on here and talk about the working class, folks. I just would encourage you to go have a conversation with the working class.
Can I tell you a conversation
let me
I had
finish.
today?
Let me actually finish. Because if you actually do, they will not feel like they have recovered. They will feel like things are still more expensive. They will feel like their retirement is struggling. They will feel very unstable. And we just lived this. We weren't listening to working class people. The polls, maybe they lie, maybe they're incredible, like Donald Trump says, but that's what the working class people are saying.
We do have to leave it there.
And it's just so obvious to me that the Republican Party just have a natural disdain for working class people. They think we deserve less. They think that the rich should pay even less in taxes. They're completely okay with tax evasion, and And just like this guy, whatever, Kevin O'Leary, and his daddy Trump and Elon Musk, like Trump supporters really think that these people, these types of people, will really care about them and will fix their lives somehow. I mean, I've said this before, Republicans are immensely easily tricked. Really, they have a brain of a mediocre 4-year-old. You feed them some racist or bigotry seasoned red meat, and they become so loyal. And to the business part of this, there's going to be long-term effects. They didn't mention on this. There's going to be long-term effects on how we are seen globally. That's already set, and I don't think we're ever going to fix that, to be honest. We lost our reputation as a stable market, as a stable ally, because of Republicans. They cannot be trusted. And again, look up the data. This happens each and every time. Bush gave a recession to Obama. Obama got us out the recession. Trump took it, brought us to a recession because of how he mishandled COVID. Biden got us out of the recession, opened the country up because the country was completely shut down because of Trump. Leaves it to him. The country was getting better. The economy was getting better. And look at it now. We might already be in a recession. This is truly, truly unbelievable. If you don't believe me, look it up, Republicans. But let's be real. We all know you won't. You're all just so against education. We know you're not going to look that up. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe and like the video. It really helps. And I'll catch you in the next one.